Hey people, alright, I'm back on Leaf. I don't think I've played Leaf in a while. To be fair though, I haven't been making a lot of videos lately due to the annoyance that is starting a new job. So yeah, I'm starting my videos now in the Adventurers Guild. Dowdow's bidding on a house in Svargrand, actually. So eventually, what weapon was that? The Stomper. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, Dowdow's bidding a house in Svargrand. I'm actually gonna auto-click into the depot here, and then check and Alt-tab out and check on that real quick. See if I was outbid yet. Was I outbid? Nope, I still have the leading bid, although my bid is at 20,000, which is sort of obnoxious. Just a little, though. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna go do the most boring thing ever, which is go hunt. Really? Really? Alright. God. That's annoying. So, okay. What? Man. Alright. Yeah. Man. Is that everything? Alright, that's good enough. Okay, so I said previously, everything Leaf does will get recorded. That was the intended plan, so to say. High withdrawal. I don't even know how much money I have, to be honest. I don't know. Withdraw me 600. That's probably enough for arrows. Okay, yeah, I've got 13k. I think I'm pretty good at this point. Okay, so what level am I? I'm level 29. Alright, to the wiki. What kind of arrows can I use? Do they? They don't show up under distance weapons, do they? Arrows. Alright, there we go. No. I want to see ammunition. There we go. Sorry, I'm on the wiki right now. It's not being very helpful. 20 would give me sniper arrows, if I so desire. Or I could get elemental arrows. I want to see if crocodiles are weak to anything. And I'll pick up some elemental arrows. Crocodiles are weak to fire. So, what are they called? Flame arrows, I think? Flaming arrows. Wow. Okay. How much are just regular arrows? 3 gold? Wow. Okay. Arrows are a lot more money than I thought they were. Hi. This is like a gargantuan waste of my money. Change of plans. We are not using arrows. I'm gonna withdraw 1k for spears. Let's go drop these arrows off though, because I'll use them later on. Wow, that was a lot more money than I thought it was gonna be. Jeez. I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but wow, again. Jeez, wow. I can't afford, I could afford to use the arrows, for sure. I mean, I would definitely be losing on crocodiles, because crocodiles don't drop any kind of, meaningful money. Royal spears. Royal. Did I go right past them? I did go right past them. Sometimes I be an idiot and stuff, and it makes me sad. Alright. I think I'm gonna... Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was going to leave, one of the spears behind, but worst case scenario is I'll just throw a spear on the floor and then come back for it. See, it's been a while since I tasked some crocodiles, I think. 4 videos, maybe? 3 or 4? It's whatevs. We'll do crocodiles here, and then the next video I'll go back and maybe finish the Svargrand stuff, come back, finish up crocodiles, kill the snapper for the last time, do tarantulas. And then, probably from tarantulas, I'll switch to the mammoths and badgers and do carnifilla last. Carnifilla are kind of dangerous, to be fair. I hate using spears. Bam. I would like to get some food. There we go. Food acquired. Bothers me to have yellow HP for obvious reasons. And look, I broke a spear already, so we're good. Anyway, folks, so before I get into my topic of... somebody's here. Whatever. Go ahead and just hunt on top of him. It's the only real crocodile spot, and I'm definitely not leaving. Before I get into my rant, or whatever it's going to be for today... I'm not actually going to rant, by the way. I'm just going to talk about things. But before I get into my topic of commentary, I just want to point out two things, actually. So, I think out of my last couple of videos, I ranted about some, like, political stuff. I'm going to do my best to kind of keep that toned down, because I know a lot of people don't enjoy that. However, I like to talk, and I'm opinionated and stuff, so... I make no guarantees. And I'm sure as the election year heats up, I'll probably end up doing that more. Also, just on a side note, it's kind of a surreal concept for me to think that there's a possibility that somebody will be watching this video after the election season is over and having no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about the, like, 2016 elections. You know, currently we're still in the, like, early, before the primaries, basically. But anyway, just saying that. American politics also, in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, just, it's kind of weird to think that, like, I speak as if I'm, like, talking to a person who's sitting across from me, but I'm actually being recorded. And it's weird to think that my words are being recorded like this. I don't know. Until you've made videos of yourself talking and put them on YouTube, I don't think you'll know what I'm talking about exactly. But when you do, you'll realize it is a, like, surreal experience. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to try to not do that as much as possible, but whenever something, like, happens, you know, like, I don't know, aliens descend and it causes political strife, I don't know, something. Yeah, I'll talk about it. I won't be able to control myself. The other tortoise first. Wow, I absolutely do not care about a person riding a black sheep. Like, really, lady? You're riding a black sheep? Well, I'm gonna go... Ugh. That sucks. Alright, hold on. I wonder which way she came from. I know if I go back up there, I'll be walking into a dead end, so I'm going to try this way somewhere. I just don't know if she came from the south here, or if she came from the right here. Also, really? She's riding a black sheep. Do you know how expensive that taming product is? I can't believe she's tasking crocodiles here having that. Ugh. Absurd. Anyway, so then the other thing is just kind of an announcement of sorts. I've been throwing this out in my videos for a while now. Well, not for a while. But anyway, so yeah. It doesn't matter. It's been like 4 or 5 videos. Nowadays, I've commented before how I don't enjoy all the, like, editing work that goes with my videos. And I do enjoy making my videos, you know, playing the game and, you know, giving my commentary. But all of the, like, setting up the little buttons that go over there, loading up everything, you know, taking that screenshot, printing out that button for the last video stuff, all that's just kind of a hassle. And then putting tags on YouTube after it, you know, uploads is all just a pain in my rump that I obviously don't enjoy much. And a lot of times, you know, I just would prefer to be, you know, making another video. Or, for example, like after this video, what I'm going to be doing is going to sleep. I might make one more video after this if it's, depending on how long this goes. It is 7:53 a.m. Anyway. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, I should be putting a certain amount of videos up a day. And I actually feel like I'm failing at my task at the moment because I've been busy with my new job. That, by the way, will be my topic for the day. My new job. But yeah, I just feel like I'm not, like, you know, doing well enough. You just, of course, had to die on top of that thing, so that I have to right-click, hit browse field, and you suck. I was hoping there was a crocodile back here. There's not. Bam, you did. So yeah, what I decided to start doing was, when I get my videos up on YouTube, I will immediately post them on my Patreon account. There'll be a link to like the video. I think you can even watch them on the Patreon page. I haven't tried. I don't actually ever watch. I did not want to level up. I don't actually ever watch my videos on YouTube because I don't want to like artificially give myself additional views. So yeah, I never like click on my own videos. So I'm not 100% certain how it works, but I'm pretty sure you can watch them on my Patreon page. Anyway, point is, the videos will all be posted up on my Patreon page. You can get them preemptively of sorts there. They won't, the little buttons over on the side won't work. Like the annotations won't be set up. There won't be a description. There won't be tags. And the video won't like effectively be live on YouTube. So if you like go to my channel on YouTube, you won't be able to find a trace of the video. But it'll exist on Patreon. And then I will still write my commentary there. And then when I get around to it and putting all the annotations up, then it'll actually go live on YouTube, and I'll also edit the commentary if I feel that that's necessary. Depends. So yeah, that's the new situation. So if you go to my Patreon account, you'll find videos up sooner rather than later. For example, I think there's currently like 2 videos that are up on my Patreon account that aren't up officially on my YouTube. So that's just kind of how things will work. I'm not doing this in like an effort to like, you know, blindly push people to my Patreon account. I'm doing it just because it makes my life a little bit easier, because I'm like mind-bogglingly lazy. And hey, if people come to my Patreon account, that's an unintended side effect. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. Likewise, at the same time, I also have a Twitter account. The early videos will not go up on the Twitter account. I will not tweet about them. I will not tweet about them until they're fully, like, you know, set up and everything like that, and then I will tweet about them. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, folks, I don't know if I said it in my last, I think I mentioned it, actually, in one of my Leaf videos. But I started a new job, like, a week ago or so, 2 weeks ago. I honestly don't remember. It is not a glorious job. I am a midnight shift, graveyard shift, third shift, whatever you want to call it, gas station attendant. Hurrah. Specifically, I work 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So it's 7:57. I got home about 2 hours ago. Well, my shift was done 2 hours ago. I did not get home 2 hours ago. I guess it would be weirder if I had, like, a real meaningful job or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a tax accountant. Play Tibia and DDO and all these other games in my spare time and make Let's Plays. That would be kind of weird, I think. Or if I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a brain surgeon, rocket scientist, or something like that. Or something like I was like actually important. I was like, oh yeah, I'm like a congressman of Maryland 3rd District or something like that. I don't know. Or like I'm in the military. Like, oh yeah, lieutenant in the army. I wonder if this lady is a bot. She's not acknowledging my existence. There's a good chance she's a bot. Filthy, filthy bots. At least she seems to be sticking to one level. I haven't seen her pop up to the 2nd level yet. Nope, okay, she's definitely on the 2nd level. That or there's another person here. It's kind of annoying. What can you do, though? No, let's keep going south. Actually, real quick, before I continue my little story, how many more do I have to go? Quite a few. That's annoying. Alright, let's go this way. Yeah, so I mean, it's like not the coolest job in the world or anything like that, but, you know, it's sufficient to prevent me from going bankrupt. So yeah, though, now I've had, like, I've worked, I did, like, my training, did my actual nighttime training, and now, tonight was my first night of, like, working by myself at night. So now that I've kind of accrued some material, I think I can talk about it. So let's see, I don't know what I said about this job in any of my previous videos, so to just kind of, like, refresh, I applied to this place, like, 3 months ago at this point, and then didn't hear back from them at all for 2 months, and they just like randomly called me one day. And the only reason I picked it up was because the phone number started and looked similar to one of my family members' phone numbers. So when I glanced at it real quick, I was like, I think this is this person. And then they were like, oh, hi, this is the gas station you applied to. Mr. Silvius, we're talking to Mr. Silvius. And I'm like, oh, yes, this was not at all what I was expecting this phone call to be. And I all, like, answered all unprofessionally, too. You know, like, you're supposed to answer the phone, like, oh, hello? And I was like, yo, what's up? So it was a great first impression. But yeah, so they offered me this job. They're like, can you come in for an interview? I'm like, sure, when? They're like, how about, like, 10 minutes? I'm like, And at the time, we still have a car. We actually got a car recently. After my cousin crashed the last one into the dump truck. So yeah, we did recently acquire a car, but at the time, no car, so I had to walk. Well, actually, I had to ask my my one aunt to take me, and she sucks at life and couldn't do it. So I walked. It's about a 30-minute walk, which is kind of annoying. It's not a big deal. It is, however, it occurred to me as I've, been going to this job now for a little while. My house is on top of a massive hill. A massive hill. So, it's actually, like, the hill is almost steep enough that I need to, like, be cautious walking down so that I don't lose my balance. It's impressive. So yeah, it's, like, exhausting, and, in all of my earlier videos, I'm sure you've heard me complain about heat and cold and all that jazz, or just heat and it not being cold. So I'm just going to be absolutely thrilled, speechless, to be walking massive distances uphill while it's like 90 outside. So that was obnoxious. But yeah, so I go to the interview. Interview actually went like surprisingly well. I'm kind of I jokingly say I'm, like, antisocial. And I also sometimes jokingly say I have, like, social anxiety. I don't think I really have, like, social anxiety. I mean, like, for people that really have social anxiety, I think when I say I have it, I'm, like, taking it away from them. But I am extremely uncomfortable in social situations that I'm not really sure what's, like, expected of me. And this was definitely one of those situations. But interview went well. The manager that was hiring me kind of, like, made it out to be, like, I had good prospects and everything, so, we negotiated my pay, which was honestly awkward, but surprising. I figured they would just start me at, like, minimum wage, but no. I didn't do much better than minimum wage, but still, better than nothing. So then I had to come back, like, 2 days later, which involved another annoying walk. And then I had to get, like, I had to sign off for, like, a background check, and then I also had to do, like, a drug test, which was annoying. And then, then I had to come back after all those things. And then they wanted me to go, I had to go to this, like, off-site training, right? Which I thought was nonsense. It's a gas station. Now, I understand, like, when I was working at the grocery store, supermarket that I used to work at, we had plenty of room in the building, like storage closets and stuff like that, a break room that was relatively large. There's plenty of room for, them to sit down and, like, train me. Obviously, a gas station doesn't have that room. Like, we don't even have a break room in the traditional sense. Really at all, actually. We don't have a break room at all. By the way, I just would like to point out that I haven't gotten anything worthwhile from any of these tortoises. No shells, no shields, no tortoise eggs, not even really money. They've been a total wash. Anyway. So, for them to do like the off-site training for me, I had to go to like a town an hour away. Which, first of all, I think was kind of stupid because like it's a gas station job. How much off-site training really are they going to have me do? Like, you know, it's one thing I suppose if they're going to like teach me how to like run the register and like operate all the facilities and stuff at the training. So the training is at 9 a.m. and it was about an hour away. We have no car at our house, so I had to get one of my aunts to take me. But obviously she couldn't take me, like, you know, before. So I had to go up the night before and get a hotel room. Which was, like, obnoxious, because, you know, hotel rooms are kind of expensive. The hotel room by itself, I think, was, like, about $100, $105, I think. Which is a lot when you kind of get down to it. Also a lot for like an unnecessary expense. However, I like staying at hotels. And I also just kind of like enjoy traveling and being like outside of my I don't like interacting with people all that well, but I do just enjoy like not being in my own spot sometimes. So it was enjoyable is the important part. My plan was originally to get a hotel that was close enough to where the training facility was so that I could walk. However, when I like looked at it on the maps, the training facility was like crossing a highway. So I was a little concerned, so I got on like Google Street View and actually saw what I was like working with. And what I was working with was I needed to cross a highway overpass at like 8:30 in the morning. The highway overpass had on and exit ramp, like entry and exit ramps on both sides, and there was absolutely no walk space. So I did not want to get like, you know, hit by a bus and die. So instead, I just ended up getting a cheaper hotel that was a little bit farther away, and then taking a cab. And then the training class was supposed to run until like 1, 3 in the afternoon. My auntie worked. This is a different aunt from the one that was being useless, by the way. I have multiple aunts. Hey look, it's the bot lady. I'm just gonna go up the hole. Seriously, like, you're level 39 on a black sheep. I hope she's not... I mean, first of all, she shouldn't be hunting here in the first place, I think. But if she's botting, I would be so irritated. But I also don't want to, like, interact with her. Because I don't want her to be like, I hunt here, leave, and then threaten to kill me. So, it's whatever. So yeah, though, my aunt was worked that night until like 4, and then an hour drive. So after the training, I was going to need to definitely not just stand around in the town with all of my, like, you know, I put all my clothes in like a backpack. But I didn't want to just stand around with all that crap. Plus, I brought my laptop with me. I have a little, like, briefcase-like package for it, sort of. So I'm not just standing in the town for several hours. So I ended up taking another cab to a Barnes & Noble's, and then just kind of, like, buying a book and having fun. Sitting at the cafe, eat some food, and be on my way. So yeah, ultimately, I spent way more money than I wanted to spend. She's either obnoxious or she's a bot, and I think she's a bot. I don't know what she's doing. Maybe she's actually a player. Who knows? Who knows? Well, that just means I can't report her, so I guess that's good. I do find it interesting, though, that she's, like, directly following me. This is why I'm a little confused. I'm not sure what she's doing. Because she's, like, following me knowing that I'm killing everything in this direction. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah. Spent like $20 on cab services, then a whole bunch of money on this hotel. Then I also, you know, had to get myself food and everything like that. Also, I could get a minimum wage job. I basically, like, spent what is going to be an entire, like, week's paycheck. At least. So yeah, after that happened, and the training seminar was actually like incredibly pointless and stupid. Most of it was like learning about the history of the company that I'm working for, so that I can be like, go team. I have so much pride and like loyalty and dedication to this place that pays me minimum wage essentially, and gives me like the worst hours and treats me like a disposable resource. And to be fair, I'm totally a disposable resource. Like, they shouldn't treat me better than they treat me. But like, they're being like, be proud of our team, is just nonsense. You're not proud of me. You're treating me like a disposable resource, because I am a disposable resource. Let's be honest with ourselves. I'm only working with you long enough for me to get like another job or send myself to college or something like that. I'm not going to make a career out of gas station attendant. Nobody makes a career out of gas station attendant unless they can help it. So, yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's what it is. So yeah, the training seminar, though, was like largely useless and told me like a whole bunch of common sense stuff. Yeah, okay, so actually the training seminar like went under like two categories. Common sense stuff, like don't sell cigarettes to minors. Really, don't sell cigarettes to minors. No, I mean for real, don't sell cigarettes to minors. Like, if you sell cigarettes to minors, we're gonna kill you. They're very adamant about the whole not selling cigarettes to minors thing, which is good, I guess. They showed off the different types of IDs, blah, blah, blah. One of the interesting things, though, was one of the types of IDs that you can use to get, like, cigarettes is a military ID, which makes, like, perfect sense, because it's a photo ID that has your age on it. And that's basically the important part, photo ID. That's, like, a certified photo ID with your age on it. From some kind of, like, government agency is the important part. So, yeah, military ID is acceptable. But apparently it's, like, illegal to make a representation of a military identification. So on the computer program that, like, we were doing this training on, they weren't allowed to show a picture of a military ID. So instead they just put a white box with a red X over it and said, sorry, we're not allowed to show you what this looks like. Which I kind of thought was funny. So we did that. The training seminar had more people than they, I guess, normally host, so it actually lasted from 9 to like 3:30. Like I said, I mean, we did a lot of like pointless stuff like that. They talked about the different types of coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't like it, really. It's expensive, and it doesn't really do anything for me either. I also don't really just, in general, I don't enjoy drinking hot things. I know there's iced coffee, but that's usually more expensive. And also, again, I don't like the flavor, and it doesn't really do anything for me, so... yeah, I had to, like, learn about the different types of coffee, so that I can, like, you know, recommend to the customers what types of coffee. Oh, well, if you prefer a darker blend, we've got our dark roast, but we've also got our signature cafe coffee, which is like a slightly milder, but still darker and richer than our homebrew blend. And I'm like, dude, if somebody asks me about coffee, I'm literally gonna say, I'm sorry, I don't drink coffee. I'm not gonna just lie to them, and I definitely don't care enough to start drinking a whole bunch of coffee so I can give better advice to the people that come in not knowing what type of coffee they want to drink. You know, there's a reason why I don't work at a Starbucks, for example. Also, if you're coming into a gas station to get your coffee, I mean, come on, like... You know what you're getting. You're getting gas station coffee. You shouldn't go into a gas station expecting recommendations. Call a concierge service. I'm not sure if I pronounced that word correctly, but call them up. Get them to give you your coffee. So anyway, we did that, and then they kind of taught us how to, like, clean up a gas spill. By, like, showing us this incredibly old video that had to have been, like, from the 90s or something like that on how to use the, like, cleaning chemicals they have. But they followed up with, like, this terrible video that, like, didn't go in depth on anything. And then are like, okay, so, like, you know, if the gas spills, you've got, like, 3 types of spills that we qualify them as. A small spill is a spill that's not spreading and that you can, like, technically leave there for a period of time and it won't go anywhere else. You still can't leave it there, but, like, in theory, you could. For example, like let's say I fell down and like broke my hand. We could leave the spill. Did I just eat that? I did not mean to eat that. Yeah, let's say I fell down and like broke my arm or something like that. We could leave the spill and get me medical attention. And it's not that big of a deal. A massive orc force, who cares? Then there's a large spill. And a large spill is a spill that's not contained. Also, you know, like takes up a larger area of space. But the important part is it's not contained and that you can't leave it there. So if I fall and break my arm and we have a large spill, we're going to call the cops and then go deal with the spill while I lay on the ground, as long as my life isn't in danger. And then we have the disaster level spill, which is actually just a gas spill that touches grass or like actual soil, or that goes into a storm drain. And if that happens, it's just an epic disaster and everything is just a disaster. They told us we get like a fine if that happens, and the minimum fine is she already went down here. I'll go a different way. Or not. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the minimum fine is like $100,000. Also, for like small spills, we can take care of them ourselves. Large spills, we're still supposed to take care of them, but I think we also have to call the fire department. And if it touches the grass, we have to call the fire department and call like the EPA and a whole bunch. Like I said, it's a disaster. If you get a large spill in your hands, you're better off just lighting it on fire and blowing up the entire gas station, just calling it a day. So yeah, though, like it's an incredibly important bit of like information that they kind of just dropped on me there, and was also like, yeah, also, you know, it could explode and kill everybody. So yeah, this little like this little movie that we watched for like 10 minutes, that's all you're getting. We're not talking about it at all. No other training. Just when you get to your store, hope that you know where the cleaner and the chemicals are, and hope that you remember this, because nobody's going to go over it with you again. And hey, worst case scenario is we just turn into a crater in the ground. So that was that. I did enjoy my little bit of traveling, though. So then after that, I got 4 days of 4-hour shift training. They didn't want me on register for the first 2 days. So the first day was like miscellaneous tasks, because I have to do a lot of miscellaneous tasks, which is not cool, to be honest. Trash, making the coffee, things like that. One of the guys that works there I used to work with at the grocery store for a short period of time, but like I know him. Little weird. He had me like training, doing stuff like that, and was not a terribly good teacher. Basically, he was like, okay, you're supposed to do this, but I usually don't bother. She stole my kill. Don't care. So yeah, he was like, yeah, you're supposed to do this, but whatever. And then he had me like, so we have to like drain the coffee and then make the coffee again. So he like showed me how to drain the coffee, and then was just like, all right, you got this. After he showed me like how to make one pot of coffee. So I went to like make the coffee, and I didn't realize that he never put the like valves into the closed position after we drained them. So when it started brewing the new coffee, it just poured out all over the counter and on the floor. So then I got to mop up a whole bunch of coffee, and then wasted like 8 pots of coffee or something, which was awesome. So that was day 1. Day 2, they had me restocking the refrigerator and the coolers and stuff like that, you know, like the milk, the soda, and stuff like that. That was actually really nice because the store is like kind of hot. And I have a uniform to wear, but like the uniform doesn't actually still hasn't come in, so I still don't actually have my uniform. I will go a different way. So yeah, the uniform still hasn't come in, so I had to like buy my own uniforms. I actually needed these for the training too, just for the record. Walmart, I needed a like polo shirt, a shirt with a collar, it had to be. And it had to be a solid color. So Walmart had exactly 3 shirts that fulfilled that requirement. And then one of them was too big. So I got the only two that were there, and they're kind of like dressier ones. They're kind of like silky feeling. I honestly don't know what they're made out of. I think polyester. They're kind of silky though. They're really like thinnish. So you definitely need to wear like another shirt under them. Still like don't know what she's doing. She's definitely doesn't appear to be a bot at this point, which I guess is grand. Good for her. I wonder if she's wondering why I'm not killing the crabs. The reason why I'm not killing the crabs, by the way, is because I'm not tasking crabs, and I'm perfectly content to make her go slower by killing the crabs. That is actually why I'm leaving the crabs, so that they slow her down and that she wastes her time killing them. Also, I mean, we're kind of both hunting on top of each other, and I might as well like be as polite as I possibly can and give her something. So I leave her the crabs. Should always give girls crabs. Girls love crabs, I think. Is that how this works? Anyway. Running out of space. So yeah, working in the cooler. So yeah, these shirts require me to wear a second shirt underneath them, and then also they're really warm. So I'm just absolutely baking, and then on top of that, each of these days I actually bought a bike so I could ride to work from Walmart, but I did not get the right kind of bike. I did not get a like mountain bike or anything like that. I got a bike, I don't know what it's exactly called, but it's got no gears. So going up hills is just impossible. And then again, it's like super hot, and the bike's actually sort of heavy. So when I just push the bike, I'm also just like exhausted. So I get to work like drenched and covered in sweat in the first place, and then just am never able to cool down. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's very unpleasant in every kind of conceivable way. In other words. So yeah, working in the cooler was actually like absolutely wonderful. Then day 3, I was on the cash register, which was like perfectly fine. If there's one thing I'm like pretty confident in my ability at, it's running a cash register. I have a lot of experience with that, and I'm good at that. So yeah, ran the cash register day 3, and then day 4 they had me stocking the normal shelves. I will say, though, that at the grocery store I worked at, when your shift ended, you just, like, signed out of your register and kind of left. I mean, sure, you had to wait for, like, your relief person to come in. Like, you couldn't just leave if that person was running late. But, like, you just signed out of your register, and then, like, somebody else got into a different register, or if they needed to, they got into your register. There was nothing else to it. In this place, I gotta, like, take my money over to a counting machine, count it, like, print out these records of how much money I deposited in the safe, add it all together. I gotta record, like, alright, I had 42 cents in pennies, $1.35 in nickels, $2.60 in dimes. It's all gotta be, like, added together, which is a pointless hassle. Alright. I am, again, content with letting you take that tortoise. You're bad at hitting that tortoise, though, lady. So yeah, it's like whatever. So yeah, you have to do all this stuff, and it takes like a solid like 10 minutes almost, and then all these like records have to be kept. Any lottery tickets need to be like stored. All these other types of documents need to be stored. It's actually like a huge pain, and nobody really explains why or what is necessary. They're just like, okay, look at this paper, take this number, put it there, go. So then, like, the next time, I'm like, okay, so I still don't know what I'm doing. Because nobody was like, here's what you're doing and what this means. I feel like the person that hired me, I only worked with her, like, once. Because she went on vacation. And I feel like she's the most, like, helpful person I've encountered there so far. So, I mean, it's whatever. So then, that was all, like, daytime shifts. Which was, part of the annoyance of walking there. Because, I worked noon to 4. No, I worked 10 to 2, noon to 4, 4 to 8, and then a noon to 4 again. So all of them were unpleasant times. I had the bike by that point, though, like I said. And it was awesome because at 8 it was dark enough that like the sun was mostly down, and I relied on like street lamps, and there are no street lamps on the way from that place to my house. None at all. Same thing. Yeah, maybe I should go to that at some point. Obviously not on Leaf, but maybe I should like check it out. I don't really do raids all that often. Anyway, so yeah, it was absolutely pitch black. Nobody had like little lamps at the end of their driveways or anything like that. Nobody had porch lamps, and the road's black instead of gray. So it just like I just couldn't see anything. I couldn't even see the road effectively. And the bike has no suspension or like shocks or anything like that. So like hitting a manhole cover or like, you know, a speed bump is probably like damaging the bike, but also, you know, puts the seat like right up through my like hips. If I had tried riding the bike while it was that dark out, I probably would have had to go to the emergency room to get the like bike seat surgically removed from my insides. Alright, sorry about that, folks. I had to pause there. And to be honest, I kind of don't remember what I was saying. Let's see, where was I at? Well, to be honest, you know, I don't know where I was at. That's annoying. Anyway, I'll continue with where I knew I was going. I don't know what I was specifically talking about before I stopped, but... So then it was like a couple of nights ago, I started on actual third shift. So they had a person shadowing me. When I'm done the training, I'll actually be like working solo the whole night, which kind of freaks me out a little bit. The supermarket I used to work at just didn't allow you to do that in the first place. Like, you weren't allowed to have only one person in the store for safety reasons. And also because they didn't, like, probably didn't trust the employees. I know they didn't trust the employees, but, I don't know if they would be afraid I was gonna, like, rob them or something like that. Which is interesting, because, like, the grocery store I worked at, I wasn't allowed to ring myself up. And if I was the only person there, like, the only cashier, for instance, but, like, there was a night crew guy or something like that, I still wasn't allowed to, like, check myself out. I had to, like, get him to come over and, like, watch me check myself out, and he had to sign off on the whole thing. This place, they're just like, yeah, whatever. Use your own register, buy your own stuff. It's like, alright. But, yeah. So, I worked the first night with this dude. He's a pretty cool dude. He's into, like, a whole bunch of, like, online video games and stuff like that. Plays Magic the Gathering. I play Magic the Gathering. I haven't played in a long time, but I used to. So we got talking about that. He's probably got me addicted again. You know, I was doing good. I was done with that addiction, and then Jerkwad got me back. I'm gonna go bankrupt now. My, like, first month's worth of paychecks are gonna be going towards Magic cards, probably. Alright. I guess I can accrue a little bit more space by throwing that on the floor. Yeah. So, we talked about Magic the first night. The second night, I brought one of my decks in, and we played a couple of matches. The third night, we played more matches. So yeah, I had 3 nights of, like, you know, basically, like, shadowing him, if you will. Unfortunately, that's kind of, like, not always the best way to train a person on things. It depends on how you handle it. So, like, he was kind of... Like, we split all the tasks that we did between the two of us, but, like, there was definitely things that I was supposed to do that I never did, and he was just like, okay, and then when you get a chance, you'll need to do this. But then, like, you know, we never went over it in any kind of detail or anything like that. So tonight, or last night, I should say, was... Huh. I'm kind of interested in how this, like, raid is going now. Tonight was my first night flying solo, and I absolutely had, like, no idea what I was doing on a whole bunch of things. I had to get, like, before the other people left when I came in, I had to get a list of, like, what exactly I need to do and about what time I need to do it, because, like, the coffee has to be made at certain times and stuff like that, the pots have to be cleaned. We've got this, like, weird... The pots are, like, giant rectangles. I think they hold 3 pots, is how it works. So yeah, like, I was very unsure of what I was exactly doing and how I was supposed to be doing it. And ultimately, it turned out to be a giant disaster. the dude who trained me was like, okay, you only need to clean 2 of the pots a night out of the 8. So I said something, I was like, well, how am I supposed to know which one was cleaned and which one needs to be cleaned? And then the guy I was talking to last night, whatever, was like, oh, you're actually supposed to just clean all 8 of them. So I was like, okay. So like I took about all 8 of them, and you have to like get inside of them like a sponge and use like a pipe cleaner type thing to kind of get inside of like the nozzles and stuff like that. And in the front of them, there's like a glass cylinder that runs up it so that you can see how much coffee's still inside of the pot, right? So you have to take this glass cylinder out, like clean the inside of the glass cylinder and clean around the glass cylinder, and then you have to kind of pull it out and like get into the nozzle area where it's connected to and stuff like that. It's kind of a hassle, to be honest. It's not an enjoyable process, let me tell you. So yeah, and then there's a washer in all of these, and what the guy didn't tell me was that the washer has to face a certain direction because one side of it is squishy and one side is not squishy. So I didn't put most of the washers in correctly, and there's no way to like visually tell that. Oh, and to make matters worse, some of the glass cylinders have like chips at the bottom of them, so when you put them on the washer, they're not flush with the washer anyway. So when I, like, you know, set up to make a cup of coffee and started, like, brewing the coffee, the cylinder wasn't flush with it, and the coffee just leaked out of the cylinder. And then the best part is that there's no way to, like, stop this when you realize that's happening. It just keeps going until the pot finishes brewing. So ultimately I ended up losing, like, 8 to 10 containers of coffee, each one containing 3 pots. So, yeah. And the best part was, for me at least, was up until that point, you know, for my first night going, like, solo, and, you know, for it just being, like, a new job, plus on top of that, like, you know, I didn't really have a good idea of what I was doing in the first place, I was actually, like, doing a really good job and was, like, ahead of schedule. So I was actually, like, really impressed with how I was doing up until that point, and then, you know, coffee shot all over the floor and all over the counters, and I had to re-clean all the pots, and I didn't realize how I could, like, I didn't know what was wrong with them in the first place. So when I put them back up, they leaked again. So, yeah, it was a disaster. It was absolutely a disaster. And then it also, on top of everything else, just to, like, add insult to injury, it, rained. And I didn't realize it, and I just throw my bike, behind the, like, building into, like, a dirt ditch, which just became a muddy sludge ditch, which was just fantastic. So yeah, it was a disaster. I'm super not looking forward to going back tonight. Come on, Crocs. 211. I am unfortunately not going to be able to finish this. I might just, for the next video, instead of doing something else, I might just finish up with Crocs at this point. Because the next video, I'll only need to kill, like, approximately 80 at this point. Yeah, I might just do that. Anyway, I'm gonna head back to town at this point, dump my stuff, and end the video. So yeah. It's also good, too, that I kind of, like, finished my story there. Yeah, like, perfect convergence of timing. So yeah. I'm, like, super exhausted with my job, though. Coming back from it, I can get a ride to my job, but I can't get a ride back, because, you know, I finish at 6 a.m. So I do have to, like, ride the bike home, which means mostly uphill. There's a little bit of spots where I can ride the bike. I was originally walking it, but oh my god, I bought, like, I bought essentially, like, the worst shoes at Walmart ever. They had a whole bunch of nice shoes, but none of them were in my size, except one. There was one box of this shoe that was in my size. So I was like, perfect. I just got to try these on and make sure they're right. So I open up the box and go grab the shoes, and I found out at that point that somebody had actually stolen the shoes and then replaced them with the shoes that I think they used to, like, re-tar or, like, repave their, like, asphalt driveway, because they were just covered in this black tar. So yeah, I ended up getting these, like, cheapo crap shoes because I needed slip-resistant shoes that are, like, a monocolor. And they provide, like, no support, and I'm just standing for the full 8 hours. I'm not allowed to sit. And then walking uphill for 30 minutes back home just sucks. So I brought the bike anyway. Long story short, all of this sucked. Alright. I want to look and see what I have on, for like, armor options. I probably can't afford Zowan legs yet, can I? Zowan legs. I'm going to put a buy offer in for Zowan legs. I'm going to go for 14k. Crit. We'll see how that goes. So yeah. Long story short is I'm not super happy with my job. The worst part actually is for me right now is I don't like... I'm not a big fan of waking up and going straight to work. I like to have a little bit of time between work. But I'm working 8-hour shifts. I kind of need to start like getting ready. And, you know, like getting the bike into the car and things like that. I gotta... About like... at least 30 minutes in advance. High Adventurers Stone. Yes. Thank you, sir. So yeah, I gotta do that. And then, I mean, we're like 30 minutes or so to get home. And then I'm like, you know, swamped, tired, hot, like physically exhausted and just miserable. Which is not a good time to go to sleep. So like, you know, here I am. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes since I got back from work. I'm probably going to go to sleep at like 10 a.m. or something like that at this point. Which means I'm going to sleep until 6 in the afternoon, and I'm not happy about that situation. And then I wake up at like 6, and then I only have like 3 hours then. I'd much rather be able to like get home immediately and go asleep right away. Or at this point, I'd rather just wake up and go. So I'd rather just be waking up at 9. But I definitely do not want to be in a situation where I'm going to bed at 1 in the afternoon. Like, that's just not where I want to be with my life right now. So, I don't know. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in again for whatever version of... I wonder what Leaf video this was. I could check, but I don't care. Anyway, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Twitter for, you know, you'll get all my videos posted there. You'll whatever. And also check me out on Patreon again, because I told you I'm putting my videos up there early. And you don't really have to bother with the Facebook page, but it exists. Anyway, folks, I will see you guys later.